So, Lurlian, do you have any predictions? Can ToD, the GM caster, the hero of the Premier League, along with Claris, I know you're going to be in this Twitch chat. Every time we've mentioned ToD, you have been in there, talking frantically, cheering along your co-caster. Don't fail him now. Give him all of your support. He is up against a mighty foe. Empire's Bratok is going to be trying to take this qualification spot. Lurlian, do the honors, introduce them.
I would love to. In the top left, we have that player that you were just describing that a lot of people will be cheering for because he is that famous caster and, of course, has been around for a long time in the scene. First in Warcraft 3, now in Starcraft 2. Is he going to qualify himself for WCS Challenger League today in this final qualifier? We'll be finding out soon. In the top left, in blue, in Protoss, it is ToD. And in the top left spawn position here on Whirlwind, no cross spawns, something that we see very often in this tournament, but not today. It's going to be horizontal spawns. He is red, he is Terran, and he is Empire's Bratok.
Now, being on Whirlwind, being in the vertical spawn, or not in horizontal spawns at the top of the map, we should be seeing potentially quite a lot of drop play come down. That can be quite effective. Maybe some utilization of... I don't think we'll see Stargates out of ToD, to be honest. Not in these spawn positions. Actually, you may do, because he's in the top right, so you can put it at the very edge of the cliff to get a slightly quicker rush into the natural. Potentially, maybe. I don't know, what are your thoughts, Lurlian?
These positions would favor harassment with oracles at the natural, but you're right, Maddles. Harassing the main base with an oracle is going to be near impossible because it's so easy to intercept airship play in these positions when you come from the right side that ToD is going to be coming from with this oracle. So we could still see him go for Stargate. It's a solid opener overall, and like we saw in last series, the Revelation, the Phoenix, they're all going to be super useful in the mid game to shut down drops. So that might be something that ToD is going to go for.
But we see Bratok is going to be going for a command center first opening, really economically focused. ToD, meanwhile, has got one gate, one gas, getting his cybercore on its way. Will we see that quick second gas? The answer, yes, we will, as I mentioned it. And this is likely to just form into a relatively early mothership core, very important part of Protoss' current game. And all in all, this should be something that is going to be a bit more macro-orientated, nothing too rushed coming out. There's the second barracks there for Bratok and Lurlian. This should get very exciting.
Let's see, is ToD's gonna do what we've seen so many Protoss players do today and cancel that Zealot in favor of an earlier Nexus? Yes, he is gonna do that. I think we've seen ToD do that before today. He's one of the players that loves doing that. It's gonna delay his Warp Gate research, is gonna delay his first Stalker in favor of getting the Mothership Core out as soon as possible, which is a move that I can only applaud. I mean, the earlier your Mothership Core is out on the field, the earlier your Photon Overcharge is gonna be available, and you will be able to defend your natural in case of a proxy.
And it's really a smart move. It's just as you said, being able to get that phone overcharge out as soon as possible, really important. Probably not going to be that critical so far. We see the SCV just getting a quick scout out, wants to know is there anything under pylon to the side there. The first Stalker is on its way down now. The third barracks for Bratok, as well as the double gas getting taken. This is just macroing up quite nicely. Both players are going to be on two bases, very happily, without much really blocking their path. ToD going for that robotics facility now, so no Stargate will be occurring in this game. And do you reckon this is going to be a super fast tech up, Lurlian, or do you reckon we're going to be seeing anything else a bit more unusual?
Well, it depends. What is ToD going to go for? Is he going to drop gateways 2 and 3 right now? Yes, there he goes. Drops 2 and drops 3. The only thing that we then have to wonder about is he going to get a forge first, or is he going to go immediately into the robotics bay? So that's something that I'm going to be keeping an eye out for. How many gateways is he going to get? Is he going to get a forge, or is he going to go immediately into robotics bay? Because if he starts his robotics bay as soon as his robotics facility finishes up, we might be getting ready for a bit of an early Colossi timing.
It could be. And nice early Colossus timing can be very potent, but you have to be very lucky with what your opponent does in a lot of ways, because if you try and go too soon and they've pumped out a lot of infantry units very early on, it can be difficult. But for the moment, we see Bratok starting out stim, very normal timing, getting his factory down at a very normal time. Nothing too crazy from the Terran side of the map. Meanwhile, for ToD, still no giveaway. He is just chrono boosting out. Oh no, he's actually not chrono boosting it yet. He's just getting out the second observer, so you're going to have nice good vision, make sure drops aren't going to be too effective. Of course, the main is slightly vulnerable to getting dropped in these positions due to the nice dead space around it, and that's something that ToD will want to avoid. He's getting his double forges out, so double upgrades are going to be occurring quite early on, and that's before the first engineering bay is even started, or no, it is about to finish, so for Bratok. So the upgrade advantage will get there for ToD if it is just the +1 that comes down for the Terran player.
Yeah, ToD is a player that loves to play double forge in matches versus Terran. When I met him at ESET UK Masters Season 1 finals that were held at I-48 in Telford in England, I saw him play a few ladder games, and he always goes for the double forge build if he feels like he can get away with that and chrono boosts out double upgrades. That's really his style of playing, and he does so by sacrificing a third gateway. He only plays with 2 gateways in the early game, which is a pretty risky thing to do. If he would get dropped on very heavily by Bratok, he wouldn't have that many units out on the field to defend against it. Let's say if he would be getting dropped right now, what does he have to defend? 4 sentries and a single stock. That's very low unit count.
It's incredibly difficult to defend against that bird. ToD, he feels safe because he scouted out very early on that it was a command center first build. He knows what his opponent's doing. He feels safe with that, and therefore isn't panicking. He's happy to tech up quite nicely. He's got the Twilight Council on its way. The 1-1 upgrades are getting chrono boosted. And now 4 additional gateways being added on. That takes up to 6 gates with the Twilight Council. Very interesting compositions here out of ToD. Meanwhile, for Bratok, he has just got +1, 2/3 finish. There's Blink starting as well for ToD, and the Robotics Bay. He is teching incredibly heavily.
Yeah, he's attacking a lot, taking a lot of risks here. If he would have been attacked early game, like to Manavec, a lot of Marine and Marauders timing, I think he might have been in some trouble. But now he's going to be doing fine. Scan goes down. What exactly does that see? Does it see everything? It doesn't see everything. It actually misses the double forge, but sees a few gateways finishing up and sees something is researching on the Twilight Council. That Blink is, of course, purely anti-drop defense. Or, well, not anti-drop defense. It's drop defense.
It is drop defense, and the one thing that is important, and you noted that, is that his double forges one seen Lurlian, and that means that Bratok isn't aware that 1-1 is actually just about to finish for the Protoss player. That means the upgrade advantages there are going to be very potent, especially with that Blink ability. 2-2 can get started straight away after that with the Twilight Council already down. +2 infantry weapons is getting researched for Bratok at the moment. A double drop heading towards the main, but look at this, the Stalkers already prepared, already to deny it, and the drop will not be going in.
Such a predictable path these Manavacs were taking, and and the Observer was right on top of that, saw them moving in, so the Stalkers were as best in position as they could possibly hope to be. Is he going to try again? Is Bratok going to try to boost in and find a weakness in the defense? I don't think he should. The Mothership Core is in the main base, he scans, sees their Stalkers, now sees the double forge spinning, and he's going to be realizing, okay, so he's playing a very heavy upgrade style, and is going to have relatively late Colossi.
And that is something that obviously Bratok will try to really punish. It means that even though he's already started that Viking production, he's completely safe from those. The first Colossus is just on the field now, and that means that the Viking count should stay up and keep up quite nicely. The Stalker count will start to raise just in making sure that these drops never are able to get in there. The Observer placement really good by ToD here. Of course, we did just see that the Combat Shield upgrade did kick in. We've got +2 infantry weapons and also +1 infantry armor, about half done. But ToD, he's already a quarter through 2-2, so we'll take a nice, comfortable upgrade advantage as long as he keeps chrono boosting.
Yeah, he will be getting those upgrades out super quick, of course, with that chrono boost. The Manavacs that were trying to go for that drop earlier on are now back at home, and ToD is posturing to take a third base. But this pesky Marine here, that Marine has killed his probe again. There's always a Marine in position by Bratok at that third base location. ToD does not want to expand towards his opponent, wants to expand away from him at that position where the Marine is now going to be killed.
And it's a smart thing to do, just keeping one Marine down there delays the base, you know, when your opponent is trying to take the base as well, which in addition is a really nice way to make sure you've got a good read on what your opponent is trying to do. Behind this, Bratok does have his third command center already half done. His Viking count slowly creeping higher, just about to get his 6th Viking out on the field. The 2-1 upgrades completing, and 2-2 just about to finish for the Protoss player, as well as Storm getting started and charge.
Yeah, very important to note that the thermal lance upgrade for the Colossi was never researched, so this is one of those sort of fake Colossi builds where you get 1 or 2 Colossus to help defend your bases, but also to fake out your opponent and hopefully get him to overproduce Vikings. But Bratok might be hitting a really good timing here. He's got the Vikings that he needs to deal with 2 Colossi. He didn't overproduce them yet, and Storm is not yet done. ToD needs to buy some time for Storm to finish, because if Bratok hits now, he's going to have a tough time defending.
He will have a tough time defending. We see the Bratok moving down, seeing if there's a third base there, but ToD with a little bit of mind games put his Nexus even further down. We do have 2 Zealots warping in, attacking the third command center. The Bradok's tried to place, and a single Zealot trying to run up towards the natural, but Bratok, seeing that there is no third there, is going to pull back, doesn't want to try and move up that ramp, thinks that ToD is on 2 bases. This third coming down could really make a big difference in this hidden position.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Bratok didn't immediately stim a Marine and run it around the map like crazy, looking for that hidden Nexus as if he was hunting for Easter eggs. But no, he's just gonna put that Marine back at the third base location where it should be, according to Bratok. But according to ToD, third base location is much more farther south.
It is much further south. We see the Vikings will take out that proxy pylon there, being utilized very well. Of course, Storm has finished now. We see that there's 7 High Templar out on the field. 8 Vikings up against 2 Colossus will be good, and the Ghost Academy just about to complete for Bratok. These two haven't really lost very much this game. 700 resources down for ToD, 400 resources down for Bratok. So playing very passive for the time being.
Yeah, very passive style. Actually, out of both players, super passive play, Mandels. They're just hanging back, relaxing, taking more bases, teching up, getting more upgrades. This could be one of those games that comes down to one huge battle with one clear victor followed by GG.
And they're exciting games if those big battles are good, and we can see the ToD moving forward, going to be able to kill off a couple of Marines there. The High Templar have been revealed. Currently, there are no ghosts out, but 3 are just about to spawn. Some good EMPs are going to be critical, some great snipes going to be essential to making these engagements work. Already we see Bratok preemptively splitting all of his forces, keeping the Vikings over the high ground there. A whole bunch of hallucinated Colossi are going to help. These rocks are going to try and get focused because you do not want to engage in chokes if available. And yeah, now with the Vikings moving forward, will they be able to snipe these off effectively?
They might. I mean, there's only 2 Colossi in there. Only 2 real ones. The scan goes down. He now sees which are real and which are fake. The Colossi are still alive. The real ones, wow, this is difficult to see. Yeah, the real ones are still alive at full HP. A few of the hallucinated ones took damage.
Yeah, now it's all going to come down to some nice storms for ToD if he wants to move up here. He's morphing in a couple more Archons. Does still have 7 High Templar on the field. That third base is really helping him. He wants to knock out the third of Bratok. We can see he's moving up now. The Colossi trying to do as much damage as they can. The Vikings getting focused quite effectively. Both Colossus are managing to stay alive. A storm is going to hit and do quite a substantial amount of damage, but Bratok just has too much infantry for the moment. He pushes forward, but is he going to overextend himself? We can see the Archons doing some nice damage, but it will not be enough. The infantry for Bratok will rebuff this attack, and therefore ToD is forced to retreat.
Yeah, ToD, even though he was playing a double forge game, he was down in upgrades in that engagement and just wasn't able to hit the storms that he needed. And he didn't have the Colossi count either. I mean, you either have to have like 3 or 4 Colossi to kill a bio army in a reasonable amount of time, or you need to hit like
sorry to interrupt you, but some Zealots are going into the third base of Bratok at the moment. They're doing some nice damage because it's not well defended. A couple of Marauders now coming in, but a few good kills go off. But Bratok is about to move up into the natural of ToD.
Yep. Here goes Bratok again, stimming in.
Why is there no third here? Where is the third?
No base here? And he's not... Oh, now he does. Look at this guy. This is going to be the Marine that finds the Easter egg and sees that ToD has indeed expanded to a base a bit more further south than Bratok was expecting. ToD is down 50 supply, though he took a heavy beating in that last battle, not having enough AoE damage at his disposal. And Bratok is in an amazing position. He's going to be on 4 bases in a second, and ToD is going to be on 3 bases, one of which is in a bit of a difficult to defend position.
And yeah, ToD having that base there now, as knowing it's been discovered as well, just means that he's got to be so much more cautious when he is defending it. He can't move out boldly because it will get dropped or something like that. Admittedly, there's a good few cannons there, but it's still an awkward place to hold. But he's getting his 4th base in the 3rd location. The 4th for Bratok about to come down, but a double drop heading towards the main base. But with great observer placement, ToD will warp in some Stalkers ready to deal.
Yep, he's got some Zealots and other units there to defend against that. So that's not going to do much, but at the same time, Bratok is going to be a sneaky deaky snake, and he's going to sneak up on that 4th base, might be able to snipe it before the army gets there. The army is currently positioned at the 3rd base of ToD. ToD is still down very much in supply, down 60 supply. The armor upgrades have not yet finished up entirely for Bratok. 1 storm goes down, does do significant damage, but there are a few medevacs there to heal up. A single Colossus getting a little bit ahead of himself. and will get taken out really quickly. ToD just doesn't have the army to fight Bratok right now, but he has to. He cannot afford to lose this base, and he's gonna try.
And it's not going too well for him. We can see the infantry for Bratok just annihilating it. ToD down to 75 supply. GG's out. Game 1 will go to the Empire player.